All right, now let's see a real-world example of a form built with Angular that talks to an API built with ASP.NET Core. First, I'm going to show you how this form works, and then I will show you how I have implemented both the server side and the client side. So in this application, we have a new page that you can access from the top menu here, Patient. This is for registering a new patient. You can download my implementation from this lecture and simply copy-paste into your project folder. Then you will have a fully working example. All right, now on this form, we have a patient section, which is the main section. And here we have one field, name. Potentially, we could have many other fields like birth date, gender, and so on. Now below that, we have a subsection, address. So a patient has an address, and an address has two fields, street and city. Again, we could have many other fields here, like country, zip code, but it doesn't really matter. It doesn't change the implementation. And finally, below that, we have a section for adding the medications for this patient. So let's add medication 1 and medication 2. They appear right here. So one of my students sent me an email and asked me to demonstrate an example of using a complex object and also a one-to-many relationship. So you can see all these on this page. All right, and finally below that, here we have the object behind this form rendered as JSON. So this object, you can see, has a name property. It has address, which is a complex object with two properties, street and city, and medications, which is an array of complex objects. Each complex object, as you see, has a name property. So this is a reasonably complex example that would cover most scenarios in the applications you're going to build in the future. Now here we have server-side validation. So if I don't fill out these fields and click Save, we get a validation error next to each field. But what is interesting here is that this validation error is coming from the server. So over the next two videos, you're going to learn how to implement server-side validation and bring it into Angular. So now go ahead and download the code I have attached to this lecture, copy-paste all the files, and then go to the terminal and run npm install camel case with the save flag. I will show you why we need this module when we get to the client-side implementation. So next, I'm going to show you the server-side implementation.